Hello everybody, my name is Linka7 and welcome to a brand new video here on the YouTube channel. Today is going to be a little bit of a special one. Today we're going to be going over Link's Awakening on the Nintendo Switch. Now this game was released only about a month ago or so, and this game has gotten absolutely broken from grounds up. There's been so many discoveries found in this game, and it has been an absolute blast to follow both the glitch community as well as the speedrun community, because the record has dropped from 2 hours to under an hour and a half in only the span of 1 to 2 weeks. So today I'm going to be going over all the new glitches been found, how you can do them so you can try them out for yourself, and also how the speedrun is looking right now. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first glitch I'm going to go over is one that doesn't require you to be anywhere specific in the game, and anyone can try this yourself. And this is ledge clipping. Now ledge clipping and most of these glitches is actually using the ladders in this game. The way Grezzo developed the ladders in this game and how you actually change floors when you jump up on one is very, very broken. So you can actually clip out of bounds in almost every area of this game with this in mind. So how you want to do this with a bomb specifically is that you want to go up on a ledge and you want to stand around here and look for kind of Link's feet to be around the actual floor texture right there. You then want to place a bomb, you want to grab the ladder, and then when the bomb is about to explode, you want to hold up, press the feather button, and then you can just release everything in the controller and just see it happen. Now, sometimes if you are not far forward enough, you're going to get stuck and then get teleported back up. But if you jumped really far forward, then you're going to notice you're going to clip and fall down out of bounds. And depending on where you did this, some strange effects can happen. Sometimes you will see that you will land out of bounds. And a lot of the times in a lot of areas, you're just going to fall all the way under the map and then void back up on the ground. But there's a couple of ladders which are really fun to use for exploration. For example, in the very bottom of the map, left of Animal Village, you can actually clip out of bounds on this ladder right here, and this will allow you to completely actually start swimming out of bounds, which will give you a lot of freedom in exploring. And it's really cool when you go in between some areas, seeing how the lighting changes and the shaders. You can get some strange effects, like also on screen right now. But either way, that's kind of a fun glitch you can use to explore, but there's not really any use of this currently in the speedrun. So let's get into something that is a lot more interesting for a lot of you guys. And this is actually not too difficult to try. It's very easy, and I'm sure you guys can get this down in a couple of minutes of trying. So this is out of bounds. Now, there are two tricks that you can use with the Cucko in this game. The blue Cucko you get after beating Dungeon 6, and you have it from after Dungeon 6 to after you beat Dungeon 7. So you want to make sure that you have a save file at this area in the game before beating Dungeon 7. What you want to do is you want to go up to a ladder and you want to get the Cucko on the very, very edge. Now you can either push him, or what I like to do with making it a little more simple is throw him off and then walk forward, and now the Cucko is going to go on the very edge. You can now either climb it before he reaches the top, or you can just jump over him, whatever you feel is easier for you. After this point, what you want to do is you want to line up Link's hand with this part of the actual ladder. After you got into that point, you then want to basically just press the feather button and then tap up for a split second. And that is going to put you at the very, very edge of this ladder. Now, what you can try is two different things. The first thing you can try is something known as no clipping. What you want to do for this is you simply just want to tap to the left, so you're standing at the very, very corner, so it looks like you're about to fall down. And then you want to press A to pick up the Cucko. Now at this point, you have initiated the glitch known as no clip. You might be wondering, why is that? Well, this actually allows you to fly through most walls in this game because your collision is absolutely screwed in this state. Now, you have to make sure that you actually go against a wall for at least a few seconds, because if you just let go of the Cucko, or if you don't, if you're flying in the middle, you're going to get teleported back to where you initiated this glitch. So you can see in this clip, for example, that I can just fly against this wall here, but you can also see that if I fly to the left here, I can just clip straight through the wall. And now I'm completely just going through it, and it's kind of crazy how many walls you can actually go through with this state. Collision just doesn't work properly. Now, one of the coolest things to do with this trick is actually one of the out of bounds glitches. Now, if you initiate from this spot, you can simply start going to the left and hope that you don't get hit by a boulder, which will knock you back. And then when you reach this part on the floor, you're going to notice that the Cucko is just going to go underneath the ground. At this point, you can just hold up for a little bit, and then you can let go of the Cucko and just run towards the right, and you will see that you're now up on the mountain, completely out of bounds, next to the egg. There's also a little bit of an easier way to do this, which also includes, unfortunately, sometimes having to deal with the rocks, and that is getting the Cucko onto this ladder and then doing the same trick. And then when you actually pick up the Cucko and start flying forward, you're just gonna fly straight down through the ground. You just then want to fly left for a little bit, then fly up, and then let go of the Cucko, and you're now standing out of bounds, and you can run out of bounds like this. And you can now explore to your heart's content. And there's a lot of really cool stuff you can explore out of bounds like this. Now, there is a lot of collision that isn't solid, and if you happen to walk on one of those collision areas, then you will fall under the map. However, one thing that is good to know is that if the camera does spaz out or you get stuck somewhere, you can still use your ocarina, so you can play a song to warp yourself back into bounds, or you can just reload your save file, whatever seems the easiest to you. I've never stumbled upon a soft lock myself in this scenario. It's very rare to ever get stuck in a permanent situation. Another thing that's really useful is also something known as air climbing. So if you actually do the same trick I said earlier with lining up the Cucko so you're standing at the very edge, now instead of walking towards the left or to the right, what you want to do instead is you just want to pick up the Cucko in the middle and tap up on the analog stick for a very short period of time. And by doing so, if you just do nothing now at this point, you will notice that Link is going to float a little bit forward, and then he's just kind of going to start grabbing the ladder and climb his way down. Now, this is where this trick comes into play. So if you then go to the edge and press A and pick up the Cucko and just tap up on the analog stick, then if you start holding up on the analog stick to start climbing this ladder, the very first second you start grabbing this invisible ladder right at the top, Link will be able to climb up the ladder of the same height as the ladder is, but up into the air, which means you're just going to be climbing up all the way up with no collision whatsoever, and then you can just start flying around until you've landed on the ground. But it's also really cool because you're actually going to exceed how tall the invisible walls are for the walls in this game, which means you can actually land on a lot of ledges that you're not supposed to normally be able to reach. And this is going to allow you to give a lot of freedom. We use this, for example, in the speedrun to climb up this ladder right here, go down right, and you can also see me pause buffering the trick to make the timing a little bit easier on the up input. And you will see then that I'm going to land on this ledge and I can run along this side of the wall and then just pop into bounds on the right side. And I just now skipped a large potion of actually having to go around the mountainside. So it's a really cool glitch, and you can do this as well on any ladder in the game. So it has a lot of freedom when it comes to exploring. Now, there are two more glitches that I would like to go over that are very broken in this game. One is a little bit more difficult, and then one that actually allows you to skip all of Dungeon 8. So, what are these two glitches? Well, first off, let's start with the smaller one, and this is Villa Skip. Now, this can be used in the speedrun for either skipping the villa or also to get into Dungeon 4 earlier. Now, I would like to say out of this tutorial and out of this video, this is the most difficult trick to pull off. So if you actually are interested in trying this out for yourself, just know that this is unfortunately quite the difficult trick. But basically what you want to do is you want to get a fox and you want to hurt yourself down to 1.5 heart or 1 heart. Both of those work. Then what you want to do is you want to talk to the fox when he's looking towards you so that his timer resets so it doesn't run away. Then immediately after canceling out of the text box, you want to place down a bomb, and then around the 3rd to 4th flash on the bomb, you want to slash the fox, then immediately press the jump button after your jump slash and start holding the direction of the analog stick that is towards the wall. And what will end up happening is that Link is going to jump, he's going to get hit by the fox, which is going to push you further up, and then the bomb is going to explode, and you're then going to die. But because of the added height you just got from the fox, you will actually be able to land on these ledges right here. Now, unfortunately, this process does require you to die, but there's actually an item you can get in the game from the potion shop, and it will give you a lotion, and this will actually revive you if you happen to die. So this allows you to actually survive these jumps, getting up on these ledges you're not supposed to be at. Now, this is very useful because you can skip half of the trading sequence like this by just getting in the villa early, and also by never having to open up Dungeon 4, which is also very useful in the speedrun because it saves a lot of time. But like I said, this is easily the hardest glitch I'm going to go over in the speedrun. So if you want to try this out for yourself, I definitely recommend it. But it is not going to be the easiest one to pull off. And now the biggest one for last. This is Dungeon 8 Skip, and definitely the craziest glitch that has been found in Link's Awakening so far. Now, how does this glitch work? Well, first off, I think it would be good to show you a clip of actually doing this glitch. So what I would do is I would line myself up in the beginning of Dungeon 8 straight away as walk up and then to the left, and above me now is a mini boss room. So what I do is I go to the right side of this door and then walk up. Then when the mini boss cutscene is finished, I'm going to run to the left and dash against the wall. And I'm going to be walking down right, shoot a bomb arrow into the wall, and then get invisible and get thrown to the end of the dungeon. Alright, so how does all of this work? Well, first off, you need to know the concept of bomb arrows. If you did not know, if you have bombs and arrows equipped on your inventory and if you press both buttons at the same time, you will initiate shooting a bomb arrow. That is step number 1. Step number 2 is to understand how this actual trick works. So how the trick works is that you get grabbed by this enemy on the same frame you take damage. So that is why we use a bomb arrow, because if you're walking up against a wall and you press the both buttons at the same time, then you'll be able to get grabbed and get damage on the same frame. Now keep in mind this is a 60 FPS game, so you have a 60th of a second to pull this off. And now into the setup. So how this glitch basically works to our current knowledge of this trick, which is a little bit spectacular because this glitch is so new, but how we think it works is that basically if you get damage on the same frame, the game actually puts you in a weird state where it starts to build up velocity while you're supposed to be grabbed and thrown away. And then when he finishes his throwing animation, the game is then going to accelerate you in the direction he threw you at with the built up velocity that you had from the grab. And because you're building up so much velocity throughout this whole thing, it can be enough if you set it up correctly so that it can throw you through the entire dungeon, basically sipping you through the walls, and you can then reach the entire end of the dungeon at the boss room. Now, this is where the setup comes into play. So to guarantee that he throws you in the exact right positioning every time, that's where the setup comes in. So when I walk towards the right side of this wall, to guarantee that you're against the right side, you then want to walk up. Now during this cutscene, you want to hold in the ZL button and left. And if you're holding in the running button, which is the left shoulder button, you're going to start running the very first second the cutscene ends. So that's why you just want to hold in that button and then hold left on the analog stick so the entire time during this small cutscene. And then you're immediately going to run to the left and bonk the wall. Now, anytime during the bonk of this wall, you just want to start holding down right on your analog stick. And he's just then going to be walking down right. And then at the right time, you just want to press in both of the buttons. And if you did it correctly, you're going to go invisible. He's going to throw you across the entire area and you're going to end up in the boss room. Now, a few things to look out for is that if you actually shoot the bomb arrow, but you don't take 2 hearts of damage, it meant that you did it too late. So you did actually shoot the bomb arrow, but you got grabbed before it exploded. So because of that, you didn't take the damage of the arrow, meaning that it was late. If you shot a bomb arrow, got exploded by it, but didn't go invisible, and you got the full damage of the bomb, it meant that you did it too early. And if you don't shoot the bomb arrow at all, then it meant that you were really late, so that you didn't have time to start shooting the bomb arrow before it picked you up. So those here are some good cues. Now, the reasoning I say that this is beginner friendly is that the setup is very simple to understand, and even though it is a frame perfect trick, since this is the 3rd room of the dungeon, what you can just do is you can simply just save the game before you enter this room, and then just enter the boss fight, retry this, and then if you run out of health, so you have under 3 hearts, or you simply just run out of arrows or bombs, you can just simply click on load save file, load the save file, go back there in literally 10 seconds, and then you can retry this trick over and over again. And if you happen to fail it, then you just walk through the door and you can keep trying this over and over. Now, one thing I would like to mention is that the reason the boss doesn't trigger is because his boss trigger is only around the door. So make sure not to walk down towards the door, because then you're going to trigger the boss and you still have to fight him. However, if you do actually want the heart piece from this dungeon, then I would recommend it to go down and activate the boss. But if you just want to get the instrument and beat the dungeon, you simply jump up, go up into the top room, pick up the instrument, and you have now officially skipped Dungeon 8. And that's about it. That's the major glitches that has been found in Link's Awakening so far. Now, all of these tricks are the glitches that are used in the 90% speedrun, other than the bomb clip itself. So if you want to follow all of these glitches live and you want to check out what these runs are like, you can definitely check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Linkus7. I recently did pick up the speedrun and I have gotten my time down to 1.5 hour time. So I'm going to try and push for the sub 1.5 hour barrier in the next couple of days on Twitch. You should definitely check that out. Also, I would like to mention that I know I've been very AFK on YouTube recently because of all of this traveling stuff. The reasoning why the Breath of the Wild video unfortunately did not get released was because there was actually a new method discovered after I made the original video that is a secondary new method to duplicate items in Breath of the Wild that actually could be a very good alternative as well that hasn't yet been documented yet on YouTube as far as I've seen. So I'm going to reshoot that video and hopefully get that out within the next 1 to 2 weeks. I actually have multiple videos planned for these next 7 days because I'm going to be full in the YouTube grind. I know I said that a lot of times, but definitely this time I'll try my best to keep that word. So look forward towards that Breath of the Wild video coming out really soon. Also look forward towards a brand new highlight video coming out on the YouTube channel, as well as the glitch breakdown series I have, which I'll be posting some more videos on in the near future. But either way, hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'm sorry it was a little bit long, but I hope I was able to cover all the important glitches in Link's Awakening. And if you have any more questions, feel free to let me know down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.